3, 4.
Good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday to everyone. I'll be on camera momentarily, but I have to tame this hair right quick. So I was like, they gonna get this image today. Because we are in a hair malfunction, okay? So until I fix it, I will not be on camera. But doesn't mean I can't chat. Good morning. Hi, Chi-Town girl. I'm not even sure where I'm live. I think I'm live on Twitter, IG, YouTube, and maybe even Facebook. So good morning to everyone. I hope your day is going well. Mine has been a bit it's been busy. It's been busy. But we're here. We're awake. We're alive, and that is a blessing. I've been waiting to do this review, and I completely forgot. I'm gonna be honest. I had made the thumbnail for it, and then forgot to go live about it. And then I woke up to the news of Tony Evans stepping down. Now, for those of y'all who ain't churched, y'all ain't gonna know who that is. Okay, Tony Evans is one of the greats, I feel, in the body of Christ. I grew up listening to Tony Evans with my parents being pastors. Good morning, Mocha Minutes. With my parents being pastors, you guys have to know that I'm well versed in the Christian world, and I know all the preachers. There's not too many preachers I don't know. So I grew up listening to Tony Evans. I really have just been shocked to hear some of the theories about why he stepped down from ministry, y'all. But this is equivalent to, in hip hop, Puffy stepping down from Revolt. Like, that was a huge thing. This is no different in the church world. So good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Cece. So I was like, what is happening, y'all? Somebody needs to tell Cat Williams he missed his calling as a prophet. Cat Williams said 2024 was the year of exposure, baby. Baby. But hide your wife, hide your kids. Cause I'm telling you what, ain't no stone about to be left unturned. It's crazy. All the things that is coming out. It's like, yo, what is happening? What is happening? It's crazy. So I'm really kind of shocked to hear it. Good morning, Antonio. Kind of shocked to hear it. I'm not happy to hear it because, again, with all the things that are going on with TD Jakes right now, this is just like another giant in the body of Christ going through some sort of turmoil. Now, y'all know the saints is forgiven, so it don't matter what happened in the church. I feel like y'all will forgive it all, even if they're axe murderer child. And I'm not saying people shouldn't be forgiven, but I'm just saying you get a lot more grace. Well, I feel like men get a lot more grace. Don't get me started on that, because y'all will crucify a woman. But y'all will let these men fly. So He'll be all right. I really pray that it's nothing crazy. Y'all do know Tony Evans lost his wife not too long ago. She hasn't been gone too long. He remarried not too long after that. Um, and I'm happy. I think people should have the ability to be happy and move on, even if they've lost someone. But he did get remarried and moved on after he lost his wife. But low key, God rest her soul. I'm hoping it ain't nothing crazy because I would hate for her to have to walk through that. And I think there needs to be a documentary done on the things that pastors' wives have to endure and the secrets that they hold in the name of covering and protecting their husbands. I'm gonna be honest, the thing that burns my britches about this stuff is that what I will see is that a lot of these preachers, and I'm not saying this is Tony Evans' case, so please don't come over here talking about, so when are you judging? No, I'm not. I'm giving an example and I'm not speaking about him specifically. But what I will say is the thing that burns my britches is that these women will hold these secrets and they will ride hard for these men. Hey, Pat. And these jokers will have strokes, get sick, die early, and these men will still be kicking and fooling around. And it'd be the craziest thing to me. And a lot of times I believe that happens because these women hold too much. It's too much stress to hold some of these secrets. I see so many pastors' wives sick and down in their bodies because they're holding secrets for these men and for these churches and for the things that they have to witness and be privy to that otherwise normal people don't have to deal with. And listen, that's the one thing I made a promise to myself. I was married and faithful, and you guys know I went through my drama, but that's the one thing I told him. Once I got sick and I almost lost my life, I said, baby, you're not about to kill me. I got to go. It ain't no amount of secret holding that's going to make me lose my life because I'm stressed out trying to keep secrets for somebody. No, you want to do dirt, then you have to deal with all the demons and the devils that come with it. But I'll be danged in a half, okay? If I'm a die because I'm stressed trying to hold secrets. We do too much of that in church, and I'm just so against it. I watched my mom literally battle a season of depression dealing with church people and trying to deal with some of the things that my dad was handling and dealing with and battling. Y'all, it's too much. I think there needs to be, I'm serious, there needs to be a documentary done. And I know we hold pastors' wives in high regard, and we should, but they really do handle and carry a lot. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. And they usually end up suffering the most. And these men will bury your tail and go marry somebody else in 3 minutes. I'm just saying, it's crazy. I knew a well-known preacher back home, child. He had other kids and outside of their marriage. And child, if I give y'all the real tea, honey, we ain't got enough time this morning. But it was a mess. His wife died before him. Ain't no telling the secrets that lady died with. God rest her soul. I ain't able to do it. I'm not cut out for it. That's how I never wanted to be a preacher's wife or a pastor's wife because they literally, the things I saw or witnessed was just wild. As a kid, I witnessed crazy stuff and was privy to certain things that it was just like, what is wrong? People are crazy, y'all. I learned through church that people are nuts. All that to say, I hope that it ain't nothing jaw dropping. Then Rod Parsley in the news with abuse. I'm like, ooh, child. I know the Lord got to be like, what is y'all doing? Truth is, you've been known a lot of the foolishness, and I just think it's time for a lot of it to be exposed and come out. And I know we talk about different churches being cults, which is what intrigued me about the Dancing with the Devil documentary, because it talks about how a lot of these religious organizations are essentially cults, and they basically brainwash people into worshiping them. And I get very leery when I see cultish type behavior where you get a group of people who are mentally weak and easily manipulated. kind of drinking the purple juice, and you notice that the leader, for the most part, has no integrity, or they're allowed to get away with murder, and there's no checks and balances. A lot of these people start their own churches because they don't want to have checks and balances, and they want to be able to do what they want to do without being reprimanded or checked by people in authority. And I'm very leery of people who lack authority. All these internet preachers that starting their own shindigs and shenanigans, I don't trust it. It's usually people that want to be able to say what they want to do, say what they want to say, do what they want to do without repercussions. And so because they know they can't do that in a traditional institution, they'll start their own thing. And they typically go after people who are weak minded. And this is why I quit doing it, because I didn't like the direction that it was going. Because a lot of times y'all don't realize how this stuff is nothing more than propaganda. And I believe in God as much as the next believer. I have not lost my faith and I have not lost my religion. But I'm telling you, specifically in the Black church, being a preacher and a pastor these days is a get rich quick scheme. A lot of these people who can't get an education or can't start a viable business or can't do things legally will go start a church, because they know if they slap God, prayer, and prophecy on it and tell you to sow a seed for a word, many of y'all will do it. Because particularly, hey DeMarco, and the Black church is full of weak sheep who don't think for themselves and haven't yet escaped the slave mentality and still are looking for a master to tell them how to lead and live their lives. So we don't have slave masters anymore. We have pastors. That's all this is. And I have a strong aversion to any church that appears to be cultish. And sometimes in some of these churches, y'all praise a lot, but it's craziness. So dancing with the devil. You said you went to a church in Houston. Let me put your comment up here. You said I went to a church in Houston and had to pay $50 to shake or speak. Wait, shake the pastor's hand or to speak to him. That's, y'all, come on now. What blows me is that people do this stuff and they pay it. They pay it. I tell people all the time, do y'all know some of the most money I ever made as a speaker was in church? And a lot of the reason why I quit is because I felt like my gift was being exploited. I really did. And I didn't want my gifts exploited anymore, so I quit doing it. People are so desperate for hope and so desperate for love and so desperate for attention and community that they will honestly they'll do anything, y'all. I've seen family members give their last dime to churches who wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. I promise you, it's wild to me. She would tithe her last to these churches. And when she actually needed a helping hand or support, they would turn her down. Could you imagine giving 5, 10, 15, $20,000 to a church, and when you fall on hard times, they can't help you with a light bill or a gas bill? How crazy is that? I'm not going to church and tithing so my pastor can ride in a Bentley. And that's what a lot of people do these days. Sorry, not sorry. And it's not honestly called out enough, because now you'll have people that defend the foolery and say, well, people just don't want pastors to have no money. Go get a job. I don't care about you having money. Just don't do it on the backs of your congregation. Don't do that. And then they want to reference Jesus. And I'm like, look here, Jesus lived a lowly life. It was meek, it was humble. He was humble. But these preachers don't want to be humble. They want to be celebrities. Say I'm lying. And when you call them out on their endeavors to be celebrities versus humble servants of the cloth, then they say y'all just don't want them to be rich. No, don't really care if you want to be rich or not. Go be rich. That's what you feel like you called to do it. But it needs to be balanced by how it's benefiting your community. Church was meant to be a community organization and a community resource. Churches are not resources, they are vultures these days. And until we, as the African American community or the Black community, get tired of being pimped for our ignorance, and get tired of trying to replace our slave masters with pastors, and actually seek people that have accepted the call to be preachers and pastors because they care about their community and they want to see their community prosper and be stable and be well. I don't know. Church is in trouble. Been saying this. People don't like when I say that because they think I'm hard on the church. But I come out the church. I want to see the church win. I want to see the church be everything it was created to be. But people are more concerned with getting a dollar. So we see this documentary that is formulated. Hey, how I see it. We see this, and I appreciate that 48 TCO. With this documentary is about this dance cult. And essentially, let me tell y'all, and this is my point was made in this documentary. Essentially, this man is good at business, but his business falls through. And what he sees is an opportunity to take his ability, his business mentality, right? And his desire to want to create his own church and merge them together to form this dance ministry. And he recruits all of these big time dancers to be a part of his organization. And essentially, they're also subsequently a member of his church. Okay? These dancers are promised fame, fortune, community. Let me tell you, the quickest way to build a church is to promise fortune, notoriety, and community. And it may not be notoriety via fame, but it's notoriety via association. Y'all, I have watched people be manipulated. I promise you I have. I have watched people pretend to be people of integrity and people of the cloth and watch them manipulate people out of their last dollar. Let me tell you someone that I believe, and I've seen him behind closed doors and I've seen him in public, but he's one of the few that I can promise you he is doing the work, and it's not about the money for him. If you guys follow Pastor Andrew Carter, I knew Andrew when he first kind of popped off on TikTok, and he grew really fast. He went from no followers to 1 million followers on TikTok almost overnight. But he never cared about the money. He really just was passionate about helping people, encouraging people, being positive. And even when he was propositioned with the opportunity, he turned it down. Now you actually see God blessing him, but I promise you, y'all, his heart is clean. He's one of the few that I know for a fact has been offered money and has turned money down because he cared more about people. Him and his wife, Kyra, they go out into the streets of Los Angeles and they actually do the work of ministering to the homeless. They care about those things. That's not the case. So this man starts this cult, this dance ministry cult. These people are moved away from their families. Their families can't contact them. Can you imagine having contact with your family member and they join a church, a dance church at that, or a dance company, and you no longer can have contact with them? They're told that now this dance ministry is their family. Y'all, anything that separates you from the people that love you is not healthy. Honey, I don't even trust a man that tries to separate me from my family. You want to be my all in all? I can't contact my family. It's abuse. It's manipulation. And a lot of times people isolate you so they can abuse you. That's the steps of abuse. If you look and you study the psychology of abuse, they separate and isolate so they don't have interference when they want to start abusing you. That's how they do it. So I'm very particular. When it comes to my kids, we be involved in everything. We do. Because kids are the most susceptible. And when you have people that are connected to their dreams so much that they're willing to do anything to see their dreams come to fruition, that's a dangerous place to be. So this man promised them a lucrative dance career, and that's what happened. But in the meantime, now they're all a part of a cult. Now they may not want to call it a cult, but the people that have come out of that, and that's what you usually find. Eventually, some people begin to wake up out of their slumber and they start to realize what they're a part of. And a lot of those people end up angry, bitter, ashamed, battered, honestly, because they realize they've been manipulated. Good morning, review hour with E Podcast. Good morning, Shanae. Good morning, Holly. Yeah, Holly, is very similar to the prosperity gospel. I hate it. Anybody who knows me well. I hate the prosperity gospel. I personally, and I will say this until I am no longer in this world, but I believe that the prosperity gospel is absolutely the worst gospel to ever hit the Black church. The Black church has not been the same since the prosperity gospel came on the scene. And I'll say this because I'm not some random person saying this. I'm saying this from a person that was raised in church. I'm saying this as a person who was a minister before. I'm saying this as a person who is still very passionate about my walk with God. And there is nothing in the Bible that said that everyone that's a Christian was going to be rich. So you're preaching a false gospel that's not biblical. That's always been my issue. Even Jesus himself said that the poor we would have with us always. So my issue with the prosperity gospel has been either he is God of it all or he's not God at all. You can't argue that. So is he God? Did the people just not pray hard enough that are born into impoverished countries and towns and locations? God doesn't love them? Are they not praying? Are they not sowing enough seeds? No. They can't control the conditions that they were born in. And this is the issue I have with the prosperity gospel, because it's for an elect few of people that have 5, 10, 15, 20, $50 to sow a seed to get blessed with prosperity. I'll be willing to bet that 99.9% of the people that have sowed seeds are still broke. And if they ain't broke, they ain't much better than they were when they sowed the dadgum seed. That'd be the issue I have with it. So I don't buy it. And people say, well, Winter, you have turned your back. Really haven't. I don't subscribe to the BS no more. I really don't. I think it's foolery. And it's a shame because so many of us fall for it. Everybody wants to be a preacher now. You know why? It's the easiest way to make some money. Baby, you want to make some real quick money? Have a come to Jesus moment. Then go start a church. Have a Damascus Road experience. Go to church. And you'll be rich. You'll be rich. You can take everybody money. So now these people are in this cult And unfortunately, a lot of them are being sexually assaulted in this cult. How is it that these men of God are so holy, yet they can always figure out how to unzip their pants with multiple women in the church? And don't give me that BS talking about all of us have fallen short of the glory. It's just some things that are a given at this point. Because if the church don't talk about nothing else, baby, it's going to talk about sex. It's going to talk about you not fornicating. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that you missed that part. You missed that part of the conversation. You didn't read that part of the word. Somehow you skipped over that. And that's your biggest struggle. When really, truth be told, practicing self-control is not as hard as people make it out to be. And I'm not saying people don't have struggles, but some people ain't trying to have no self-control. They're just looking at it as an excuse to do what they want to do. And I say, if you want to do it, just don't be up here trying to be no pastor. But it be the main ones. Oh, pastors shouldn't be yes, they should be. They're leaders. And then have the audacity to be mad when somebody checks them and corrects them. It's crazy to me. So I largely, once I had my own come to Jesus realization, I took a step back from church. I really did. And I really had to figure out who was God outside of all the fluff. I met so many people that were so burned and hurt by church. It was really sad to see. And for a long time, honestly, I was, because really the church should be a hospital, but now it's nothing more than a social club where people judge everybody. And they belong to these social clubs because they feel like they're amongst people that they're not having to work so hard to be accepted by. But y'all, church at times is just as nasty as some of this stuff out in quote unquote the world. But it's not even though the documentary was wild. If you haven't had a chance to go see Dancing with the Devil, I want you to go watch it and come back and comment under this video and let me know what your thoughts were. Because while it was shocking to some, it's not shocking to me, because this is the stuff that's happening right in front of our faces. Do y'all know, if y'all go on TikTok right now, actually, no, don't go right now. Go at night. Y'all get on TikTok after 6 p.m. I promise you. Y'all, it's 3,000 profits on TikTok. I said, when in the world we get all these profits? And the crazy part, everybody has pay me so I can give you a word. Send me a cash app so I can say your name. Y'all, that is not biblical at all. And yet I go to some of these TikToks, y'all, and they be full of folks sending their hard-earned money to these scammers because people are so desperate. It's terrible. If God has a word for you, you don't need to send a cash app to get it. Y'all do know that, right? I get it. I literally have ministered before. I have taught before. I get people wanting to support me and the ministry I had at the time. I get it. But sending a cash app to before I can give you a word is wild. It is wild. Do y'all know how insane that is? God has to be disappointed. He has to be. That's crazy. And I get it. It costs money to keep the lights on. I'm not saying you shouldn't support your church. I get it. But to the point where people are literally live saying, um, I can't give you a word until you send me a cash. And you would honestly think that that was okay enough to do? That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's sad because so many people are falling for it. And I used to be the idiot that was falling for it until I went through something that I needed to go through. Do y'all know that's the greatest gift dating that old man gave me? It snapped me out of that foolishness. That's the greatest gift I got out of that situation. I've had people come on my page just as ignorant as they want to be. Talking about some, you should have never quit speaking and preaching. Girl, go on. You go on and keep being manipulated by the foolery. If I wasn't so blind, heck, I wouldn't have gotten to the situation in the first place. Because them same prophelies I received, it's amazing to me how people can prophesy and see everything else, but you can't see when somebody is deceptive. Well, God didn't show me that. Well, sounds like you might want to go back to the drawing board. Crazy. But family members are fighting to now have access to their family members because of this dance cult. And I couldn't imagine. My heart went out to the mom that was basically pleading to have access to her daughter. What kind of ministry is that you can't even see your loved ones? Y'all, I'm about to get on this live finally. I think I pulled it together. Y'all. Uh, my hair was standing in need of prayer, but I think we pulled it together. Let me read some of your comments. Hold on. It's just sad to me. So watching this documentary, honestly, y'all, there's going to be so many more documentaries that come out with these churches. Yeah, everybody does want to be a preacher and nobody wants to serve, child, because it don't make enough money. That's why. You said I thought it was just me. It's absolutely not biblical, and so many people being pimped for their rent every month. I'm putting pimped in there. I know that's what you're saying, but as a fresh set weekly, make it make sense. Ciao. Yeah, Z. Words don't cost no money. None. Nobody should be saying, give me $50 so you can get a word. You don't want it. I promise you. You don't want that word. You don't want any word that you gotta pay for. You don't. Because then the motive is wrong. The motive is wrong. You might as well just call a thing a thing. And I think we want to mask it with religion, but y'all, it's not God. It's people. Honestly, just trying to find a way to manipulate. And it's sad. I'm telling you, people fall for this day in and day out. It's always one of those things where the people suffer the worst. I think for me, that is the real unfortunate thing with it all. I know that's the real unfortunate thing with it all is that people suffer the worst when things like that happen. And then you get people that are mad at God because they feel like they got taken advantage of and God didn't intervene. And I want to hug them and be like, y'all, God had nothing to do with that. That was somebody being manipulative. This point in the juncture, I tell people, listen, you want to take my courses or my classes, that's your choice. I charge for those. You want to sign up and register to go to my events, I charge for those. But I'm not ever going to put a Cash App sign up there for you to say, hey, if you want me to pray and give you a prophetic word, I need you to hit that Cash App. And once I get your Cash App, you know what you are? You're a psychic. You are. You're a medium. That's what you're doing. You're mediating messages. And you're now you're a paid psychic. You might as well set your booth up at a festival because you have now turned your gift into a profitable entity. So now you're not a prophet, you're a psychic. So I log on to TikTok and I see tons of psychics disguised as prophets. You may not like it, it's tight, but it's right. It's the truth. And I decided I was good on it. I will never go back to that. And I love God. I'm telling you I do. But I have my relationship has evolved so much. Um and I'm so proud of it because I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to be um a sheep and I'm thankful for my mom that was a really good reader and was way ahead of her time. And there were a lot of things that we were taught. So it enabled us an opportunity to come out of a lot of that. And unfortunately, at times when we're unsure or a path isn't as clear, we default to what we know. But it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. A lot of these people just want to be famous, y'all. And if they can't do it the world's way, they'll divert and go to the church. That's the easiest way. You talk about God because we're so thirsty in church because it's, people aren't really getting properly, quote unquote, fed, or people don't take up their own cross. And, the Bible says to work out your own soul salvation. What do you think that means? People are lazy. So they default to a preacher and a pastor to do it for them. And a lot of y'all are sitting ducks for this dumb down religious jargon and propaganda. Is you're easy to manipulate. Easy. Easy to manipulate. If I wanted to make 10 grand, you know how I would go about that if I wanted to make 10 grand easy? I would stage a coup, pretend that I had a come to Jesus moment, and all of a sudden now I was going to go back to preaching. And now I can give prophetic words. I would make a killing because the church has been conditioned to buy dramatized stories. Y'all love a good drama in church. So we dramatize these good stories. We slap some prophecy on it. We can draw the people in. And now if you can sow a seed into my change, God will do the same for you. I can make a lot of money doing that. I just refuse to sell my soul for $1. If I wouldn't do it for reality TV, I dang sure ain't gonna do it for church. Mm-mm. Y'all, there's gonna come a time where you may not be able to get to church. You better figure out who God is for yourself. You better figure it out, and you better figure it out good. I don't think people understand the way of the world is getting crazier and crazier. And there's so much happening, and there's so many people being exposed, and the people that we once had faith in to lead us down the path of righteousness, we're learning we're nothing but wolves in sheep's clothing. A lot of people are going to be left displaced spiritually um because they fell for this type of propaganda. And they're going to think that everybody is like that, and I'm here to tell you God is not like that. I'm not I know God for myself. He's not like that. The same God that was with me when I was at the height of preaching. It's the same God that was with me when I was in the bowels of reality TV. He's never left me. That's what I can tell you. I don't care what people think. You have people that think I left the food. And was in rebellion because I wouldn't stay with a fool. Yeah, I said it. Absolute fool. Deceptive fool at that. And you got fools in church that don't know the word because they're sheep as well. Oh my gosh, she's in rebellion. She needs to go back and reconcile. You go reconcile with him. He's a fool. You gotta tell me twice. I'm out. Same God that's been with me the entire time. He's never left me. Y'all, I just celebrated. Let me just tell y'all. I have to share. This is so we didn't even plan to go here, but I'm gonna go here. Maybe it'll help somebody. For anyone that's been burned by church, trust me, I see you. I understand. I feel you. I've been burned by church. I've been burned by church people. I have been disappointed by church people. And I'm sure that when I left, my departure was widely felt, y'all. I'm telling you, widely felt. There are people that still will hop on my lives or come on my posts and y'all see them say, Winter, I miss you teaching. Winter, I miss you preaching. Winter, I miss when you were ministering. Trust me, y'all, this was no small group. We're talking about, I was in front of a group of almost 10,000 people. That's a lot of people. That's why I laugh, because people from my reality world, they just think I'm some newbie that no one knows about. Yeah, that may be in the world's eyes. But in the church, I was very up and coming. A lot of people knew who I was. And I was going hard. Y'all talking about being devoted and sold out. Your girl was devoted and sold out. And I have a passion for people that translates regardless. And things happened and I left. And I left because something very serious happened. There was a huge falling out. Everyone went their separate ways. Then, of course, I go through the divorce. I'm learning about all the deception. Y'all, I was like, what happened? You're talking about someone who really thought they were dotting all their I's, crossing all their T's. I wasn't with the quote unquote foolishness of the world. I was doing my best to live right, and all hell broke loose. And some people will say, well, Winter, that's because you were doing what's right. That's why. No. We got to quit making everything about the devil. Sometimes life just lifes. And if you don't quit making everything about the devil, you will impede a person's progress and ability to move through difficult things. And God never meant for us to be crippled or incapable of moving through difficult things. Because this is why he says, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has its own set of troubles. Y'all, I was killing it. I tell people all the time, there were trainings that I would teach in the faith-based community. I was clearing 10 grand in 2 hours. I have receipts. I'm not kidding you. 10 grand in 2 hours. That was a normal day in the neighborhood. And when all of that happened, it went away. I was good at saving and I saved a lot of money, and thank God I did. I was also dealing with a deceptive ninja who I realized I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. And there were people coming after him for their money. Okay. So when I tell you, I didn't know what I was going to do. I went back to applying for jobs. Thank God I do have 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees, honestly. And I'll always have my education to fall back on, but the market was trash. We were fresh out of COVID. People were still trying to figure out their hiring situation. I was like, look here, I don't know what's going to happen. I ended up moving into this townhouse. Y'all have to know where I live. The rent ain't cheap. I miss the days. I remember when I used to struggle to pay $565 a month. Back in the day, 20 years ago when I lived in Arkansas, y'all, my rent was $565. Oh God, how I miss $565. I would love for my rent to be $565. You can times that by 5 or 6 in this area. I didn't know how. And this month marks 3 years of me being in this townhouse. Y'all, when I say God has been nothing but good and faithful to me, y'all, I don't get no alimony and child support. I know y'all love to think that I was once married to an NFL player and I'm rolling all this alimony. That alimony ended a while ago. And I didn't know. I'm like, Lord, if you don't do it, we're going to be homeless. And all I had was God's promise to me that once I was homeless, well, not homeless, houseless, because I live with family. But once I divorced, I was houseless, right? Houseless for 18 months. And that was until I could find a job. I ended up getting a really good job then, and I moved out in 2018. God promised me I would never be in that position ever again. Y'all, that's the only thing I had to hold on to when everything went down a few years ago. I'm like, God, you promised me that I would not have to do that again and I wouldn't have to go back to living with family. Thankfully, I do have family that will hold a sister down if need be, but I did not want to be in that. I'm like, God, you promised me. 3 years later, and it has not been easy. Trust me, I've had my fair share of ups and downs, being a new business owner, being an entrepreneur, having a dream, wanting people to invest. Y'all, it's not easy finding investors as a minority woman. I'm telling you, I have seen white men, black men, and it's not easy for our black men, but I have seen white men shake a hand and write a $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 check. They ain't looked at no business proposal. Let a minority black woman try to get investment dollars. Y'all, I have been propositioned for sexual favors to get money. I have been offered cars, clothes to offer my body up. I have been asked for my business plan, my 5-year projections, my 15-year projections, and a spleen before people would even consider. They would never even write the check for them to even consider investing. And that is a common story that many of us have as minority entrepreneurs. So when I say you're having to literally build things and get it out the mud, y'all, I work hard. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. If Winter doesn't do it, it ain't gonna get done. Most of my guy friends will tell you I go as hard as any man. I work hard. I really do. But I believe in myself. I believe in my vision. And one day, this will just be a blip. Shout out to Jade and Ansana. This will be a blip. This will be a blip in the story. But when I tell y'all to celebrate 3 years in this house, it's nothing but the grace of God. I promise you, God has been so good to me. And I don't take it for granted and I don't take it lightly, but y'all have no clue. So I'm telling you, I know what it's like to have your faith tested and to not have church be what you expected it to be, but it doesn't make God any less good or great. It doesn't make God any less faithful. It doesn't make God any less present. And I think that's the lie that a lot of people want us to believe when we're not following the quote unquote or quote unquote traditional route of church. And we'll say, well, you're out of order or you're in rebellion. No, sometimes people are just living their life. And sometimes people are just trying to find their way. And sometimes people are just journeying the best way they know how. And guess what? God is still there. That's what I can tell you the truth on. It hasn't left me any less blessed. It hasn't left me any less favored. It hasn't left me any less covered, y'all. When I tell y'all, I have seen God come through for me down to the wire. I, I wish Corey was on here. He will tell you. He was like, I ain't never seen nobody be able to exist and live like you do. It's wild. Caressa, I tell you, I believe God loves me just that much. And it's not because I'm perfect. And it's not because I'm doing everything I need to be doing. It's not because I'm dotting every I and crossing every T. That is a lie, y'all. God just wants us to have a little bit of faith and to believe that He exists and trust Him to handle it. And He does. I live a faith walk. I ain't got nothing fancy to sell y'all. I don't. I live by faith. And I've seen God do more with less. No, I don't get on here and be giving words anymore. But I still get prayer requests all the time. And I do pray with people. Um, and I believe God hears me when I pray. That's it. That's all. And I feel like the right people that believe in me and my vision will invest at the right time. But baby, I ain't doing nothing strange for a little piece of change. I ain't got no cookies to give for a little money. See, some of y'all will do that mess. But I believe there's a price to pay when you sell your soul. And I don't have time for my vision and my dream to be tainted because I was willing to do something strange for a little bit of change. And a little bit of change come back to collect later on. And it usually comes back to collect when you done got some level of success. Now you looking crazy. I'm good on it. All I got is my name and all I have is my integrity. And I don't want no man to be like she slept with me. Mm-mm. No, I'm able to do it. To go watch Dancing with the Devil. I do feel like some of the people are still kind of disillusioned and in the cult, but I pray that they are able to get out because let me tell you, it's a hard to break. Let me read some of your comments. You said church people broke my heart when I was 17. I haven't been back to church as in the organized building since I can't my heart doesn't align with that. Yeah, you know how I see it. There are some great churches out here. And I know this. I actually know a plenty, and some I attend by internet, child. Might not be physically, but there are some great churches out here. It's just a matter of finding the right one. And sometimes it's a community. It's not necessarily a brick and mortar church. There was a receiver that played for the Redskins Commanders, formerly the Redskins, by the name of James Thrash. And actually, I have two good friends. There's James and there's Vernon. Both of them played for the Kids back in '06, if I'm not mistaken. James was with them for a while, but I believe Vernon came in 2005, 2006. They're both pastors now. They both left the NFL and started their own churches. But I bring up James Thrash because James, even back then, when we were in the league, he would talk about how he didn't believe in huge mega churches. He thought the concept of that was a scam, and he believed in doing church in his house. And so he literally started a home church. And I believe him and his sweet wife, y'all, they had 1,000 kids. I don't even know how many kids they had. They have a ton. Beautiful family. His wife was so sweet. But they moved and started another church plant there. But he never believed in the huge mega church concept. Um, because a lot of it is about manipulation, pimping, and control. A lot of it. So the church is all about control right now. Absolutely. Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. I ain't got time for it. I ain't got time for it. Oh, you said I'm moving to Arkansas, baby. $565. I remember the days when I could not pay that $565. Baby, I would give anything for $565. Do you hear me? My rent would be paid for 6 months. 6 months. Good God. So church hurt is painful. Please know that when you die, neither one of those church folks will be there to judge you. You better preach, thee. Not I love God. I'm glad you love God. Oh, you're welcome. People like, oh, she used to be a church girl, still is. Still is. Baby, I can still get a prayer through. Don't you worry about that. I might not be preaching on in these churches, baby, but I can get a prayer through. You better ask. Better ask about me. And I do belong to them. That's why I really pray for folks that try to come. If I'm wrong, I can own that I'm wrong. But baby, if I'm right and you are wronging me, I pray for you. I promise you. I pray for you. I belong to them. That I know for sure. You said when I tried to get back into going to church, I went to this one church where I had to write an application to join the youth choir. You know, it's almost like the situation with the Keon Henderson thing where he shushed that lady in the praise team, and we were told that um she does this all the time. I'm like, then why you have her in the praise team? So I do feel like people should be vetted in some positions, but the youth choir application, is it that serious? I ain't telling nobody how to run their church, but hey, Lady B. The Icy Crew. Oh, I like that. The Icy Crew. Yes. Good morning to my Icy Insiders. Listen, if you guys haven't become a channel member yet, make sure you do so. You can subscribe and become an Icy Insider. You get access to exclusive discounts, perks, and content, and some BTS. I do a lot of my BTS. When you become an Icy Insider, you can see a lot of incredible things. But yeah, church is just not what it used to be. I just really wish it would get back to being more community focused. Um, and I always say, like, never say never, but I do feel like my calling at large is to teach, not preach. You know what I mean? Thank you for your super sticker, Ed and Heaven. I appreciate that. Um, but for sure, like I literally feel like it'll just be leading a community of women. I don't feel like it is about preaching and all that stuff. I believe you can encourage and inspire and encourage people in their faith walk with God without all the theatrics. Just don't subscribe to the theatrics. And a lot of it is emotionalized theatrics. You say, good morning, Winter. Do you have any thoughts with what's going on with RHOA? Yeah, I think it's sad. I think it's sad. And one of these days, I do feel like my interview that I did with Queen Sheba will go down as a groundbreaking interview in the realm of reality TV, because these are the things that I was speaking to about the toxicity and the things that are done to increase the drama. And it's whoever is willing to get down in the mud and get dirty enough. And it goes too far. It goes too far. And I mean, we can even talk about this with Love and Marriage Huntsville. Anytime that we are resorting to revenge porn, we are resorting to trying to publicly shame and bully and intimidate and drag, and this is what happened to me season 1. And people love to say, "Well, Winter, that's what you signed up for." No, I didn't sign up for that. Nobody told me. Nobody told me I was gonna be attacked and bullied and drugged. And God forbid if you defend yourself and stand up for yourself, then all of a sudden you're being messy. See how that script is flipped? This is why I say reality TV is not always cracked up to be, and there needs to be some real improvements. This has never been about Black excellence. I don't care what lies are being sold. It has never been about Black excellence. It has been about master manipulating the masses and conditioning them to have an appetite for salacious drama and monetizing that appetite. And there is rewards given to those who are willing to play the game. Everyone is playing a game in reality TV. And if you are not hip to the game, you are a sitting duck. I was a sitting duck because I didn't know what I had gotten into. Anytime people are making agreements and pacts behind your back and they have permission and the license to come for you, but you can't retaliate and you don't know about that, that is a surprise attack. It's just that I came out swinging. Nobody anticipated that. And now Winter's messy. Winter's no. Winter's defending herself. We don't want to highlight that because of editing, we'll remove all the things that indicate the provoking of. And if Kenya did that, she deserves all the repercussions that come with it because that's not okay. How low will you go for $1? And a lot of people will go very low. We got men attacking women. We got women attacking women. That's not Black excellence. You're not going to sit here and tell me that that is. There's nothing Black excellence about that. It's not. But that's what people believe. Oh, well, it's okay if it's marketing your business. How can it market your business when most of it is cut out? Yet no one talks about the mental anguish. If that lady was confronted with something she did in her past, how embarrassing. The public ridicule, the public shame. That was an attempt done to me to publicly embarrass me for something I didn't do and accuse me, false accusations. I didn't do it. And it's celebrated and people are like, well, oh, you threw the rock and hit. No, I didn't. Lies. But it's cool because it's reality TV, right? So if she did it and it's found to be true, she deserves to be fired. We wouldn't tolerate it, right? If a man did it, it shouldn't be tolerated when a woman does it. Likewise, we talk about the young gentleman of Ghost that was sexually assaulted. Just like a woman, it's not okay when a man gropes a woman. It's not okay when a woman gropes a man. Why do we make excuses for women to do nasty things? If someone groped my son, she can get her whooped. What do you think this is? If my son didn't ask for your hands to be on him, you don't have a right to grope him. Yet because it's a woman, she gets a pass. 50 Cent pulled his post down because essentially he's saying, "Oh, it's not that bad," because it's a woman groping a man, right? But did he ask for that sexual advance? Did he welcome it? Did she have permission? Did she have his consent? So no, if Kenya did it, because Kenya deserves all the things. Yeah, he took his post down. So yeah, it's crazy. I don't agree with it. I think it's trash. When though are we as the public gonna quit consuming this mess? I love reality shows like The Circle, Love is Blind. Heck, honey, I don't even mind Ready to Love, where people are trying to find love, with the exception of people being nasty. We ain't got to do all that. Survivor. Traders. There's some good reality shows out there, but some of this salacious mess, craziness. Sure did. God said no. Baby, I don't care about these folks. I know who I serve and who I am and whose I am. Take it up with Jesus. It's nasty. Yep, Holly, I agree. Playing with people's lives, reputations, and mental health. Y'all, I had people literally try to dissect, and a lot of times people don't respond because they know their response will probably get them in deeper trouble. But you had people literally saying, well, why did she go back? And if it was that bad, there's a such thing, y'all, having to go through therapy to learn that something you endured was not okay. But people always want to victim shame and victim blame. And that's not okay. I literally had people try to play with my reputation and lie and say that I tried to dig up information on my castmates. No, that was not true. And I said it wasn't true, and they still went and tried to act like I did it. You're playing with my life, my reputation, and my mental health. And I said, the powers that be was aware of a very sensitive situation that was happening with me, and they didn't reach out and stop the other side. So something very serious happened. That's not okay. And yet we say it's okay because it's reality TV. Okay, cool. But when something goes left and someone ends up hurt, well, that's a problem. That's a problem. And then we're penalized when we speak out against editing or things that are being done on the production side. We're penalized for that because we're not supposed to break fourth wall. I just say don't do it. Go work a job. There's other ways to become famous. Too many things out here that are available that will help us get famous, but this ain't it. This ain't it. So if she did it and she shared that on that lady, she deserves to be fired because it's not okay. That's not cool. That's not cool. You said the Never Ever Met hilarious. I haven't checked it out yet. Yeah, they did edit me to look crazy, but you know what's trifling is that you have people on your cast that will align with certain narratives about you, and will actually co-sign. Yes, she was crazy. No, I was not. I was never crazy. Was I going through a lot? Absolutely. But were you guys picking and prying and poking? Yes, you were. You didn't like how I responded. Tell the truth. Don't align with the part that only people can see. Tell the truth that you were being nasty and picking, and you didn't like how I responded to your picking. And my comebacks was pretty darn good. Tell the truth. You just weren't as witty. Tell the truth. That don't make me crazy. That's why I said I just took it to the wrong platform. Because at the end of the day, child, me and Risa Tisa could be running conferences on how to not get duped and scammed in love. Now, me and Risa Tisa could be on tour. How is it? How is it? You go one direction, you get the support and the things that you actually deserve. You go a different direction and you get worried. And people saying, well, you should have known better and you should have what? Wrong platform. Nothing is ever worth your mental health, y'all. This stuff ain't worth it. I swear it ain't. Now that's true, Kim. You preaching. I believe that, God ultimately gets the glory out of it all, y'all. He doesn't waste the thing we go through in our life. Um, and he's always used it for my good. He's always used it for my good. And sometimes, sometimes it takes going through certain things to get you on the right track. And I believe this was a course correction for me because I was going down a path that while it may have been perceived as the right path, it would have ended badly. So, y'all, I have a meeting in a little bit and I gotta go because I gotta drive to get to where I gotta go and I don't need to be late. But it was nice chatting with y'all this morning. Go watch Dancing with the Devil. Go back to this video and tell me what you think. If you'd like to support the channel, you absolutely can. I think my um, my links to support and donate are in the bio. Feel free if you want to support the channel. We welcome it. Um, Other than that, if you haven't registered for the Media Momentum class, go do so. If you haven't registered to attend the Bold and Brilliant Women in Business Brunch, go register. Um, If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to spotlight your small business in our Women in Business Black Book, go to my website. You're able to buy those sponsorships just by doing that. You don't have to be local to publicize your business. So if you want to publicize your business, go do that. What else am I missing? If you want to attend the Romancipation, those tickets are now for sale. I'm going to go tour the venue for the Romancipation tonight. I'm so pumped. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, if you're a lady and you like to travel, you want to join me on the GrowHer Wellness Retreat, you're able to put down your deposit. Finally, that is up. So you go to my website, drop your deposit for that. I have two ladies that have already prepaid their trip um, in full. They did it a while ago. So I'm excited about that. And we're in the planning stages for that trip. I had someone message me. Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. Yes, you can go put down your deposit for the retreat. I had two young ladies message me. They were supposed to go to a wedding and they wanted to go to the wellness retreat. And she was like, "We can't go. We're going to be at a wedding." She wrote me back and said the wedding got canceled or postponed or something, and she's able to go. So yes, you are able to put down your deposit for the wellness retreat. Go to the site. Um, we keep the wellness retreat small. The last time we did it was in 2022. So we did it 2 years ago in Puerto Vallarta. We took 25 women total. Y'all, it was such an amazing time. And so now we're coming back. Taking us a couple years to get back to the get back, but we back. So if you want to join us, you're able to go to the site. You can do a payment plan to pay out your fee. It covers your room and board, so it covers your food, it covers your housing. You do have to pay for your own flight. We don't cover that, but it pays for your time to attend the retreat. So if you'd like to join us, go to the site. We're gonna have a good time. You guys are gonna get to go abroad. We're going out the country and having a good girls' time. I love stuff like that. I'm gonna do more of that. That's just where my heart is. I love women. I support women, not the bougie women that think they're better than everybody else. I really don't think that's my crowd. I've tried. I don't like them people. I like the normal people, y'all. I promise you. I promise you the Lord has sent me to the normal people. I promise y'all the normal people are my people. The ones that are uppity, I don't like them. I don't think I'm meant for them. I don't think they're my people. I'm for the normal people. Dancing with the Devil is on Netflix. Netflix. Go to Netflix. Y'all, I promise you. Queen of the Normals. Winter Womanland is for normal women doing extraordinary things. That's all. I promise you. I don't think they for me. They be so pretentious. I just be looking at some people like, then my face be making faces, and I just got to control my face in some circumstances. But I don't get it. You know, y'all ever see me out in public? I'm who I am. And just what y'all see on this YouTube. You ever meet me in person? You can get the same person. And I hug. I hug everybody. Yes, queen of the normals. We normal. People like, Winter, you're a celebrity now. Yeah, I'm normal. I get it. I get what people are saying. I'm not ignoring that, but I'm just a normal person. And I think when people understand that you understand your humanity, I just think you connect better. And I don't want to be up here. It's too far to fall. No, nope. I've just seen a lot of people fall. Queen of the normals. Well, Saints, time for me to go. Been on here too long. I got to go. Got to go. I love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. It's been amazing to chat this morning. Go back. Dancing with the Devils on Netflix. Come back to this video. Let me know what you think. It was a really good documentary. I got through all of it, but it was disturbing. So, trigger warning. If you're still healing from some church hurt, it's gonna be a trigger. It really is. But I love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. I'll see you soon.